Fortnite Chapter 7 has just been released and I'm going to give my initial thoughts on it in this video. I want to talk about the map, the meta, what I like about the new season, some of the concerns I have. Later on I'll also talk about some of the duo updates in EU because we've had some big changes, including MrSavage getting dropped. Let's get straight into it. Now I will be looking at this chapter from a competitive viewpoint, but I do quickly want to have a word about the map. I really like it. I think it looks great. There's a lot of cool different POIs. They're not too homogenous, unlike Chapter 6 Season 1, where, don't get me wrong, the theming was cool and the POIs all looked good, but a lot of them were very similar. That's definitely not the case this chapter. The Californian theme has been executed really well. The theme park POI looks great, as does the urban one with the storm drain, as does the POI based on San Francisco. It really does look good this season. Sort of feels like a fever dream version of GTA 5 a little bit, but I really like it. The map kind of feels like a spiritual successor to Chapter 3. I feel like there's a lot of similarities to that chapter, especially to Chapter 3 Season 3, which was kind of a summery themed season with a sandy area and a sort of abandoned theme park kind of bit. Definitely some similarities there, which is cool. Anyway, I said in my last video that I trust Epic to make the map look good, and they have delivered. Now let's talk about it from a competitive perspective. It is slightly smaller than the Chapter 6 map. I don't have a particularly strong opinion about whether that's good or bad. We'll just have to see how it plays out. You'd imagine that the map gets bigger in subsequent seasons anyway. One other thing to note, from the brief time that I've played and from the videos that I've watched, there does seem to be a lot of underground areas in this map in a similar way to Chapter 6, so it'll be interesting to see how they get utilised during the late game. Now, one concern that people had from the leaks for this season was the surfing mechanic. If you haven't played the new season yet, in public matches gliding has been removed. You now have a surfing mechanic instead, which gets you into the game, and there's only a select few POIs that you can land at the start. This is not in competitive, which I am very glad about. To be honest, I was quite fearful about it. I feel like a lot of the fabric of this game is choosing your drop spot, having plans associated with that drop spot, and if you can't do that every game, then I just don't think the esport will be as strong as it currently is. Not to mention that it would have single-handedly destroyed scrims, but luckily it's not in competitive, so it's nothing to worry about. I do want to quickly touch on the weapons. Obviously I haven't had a huge chance to play the season yet, but I have enjoyed the guns that I've used so far. The iron pump shotgun feels good. Again, I'll have to use that a little bit more to see how it feels, how it compares to the Sentinel pump shotgun, but initially I'm positive about it. We also had two new ARs, the Deadeye and the Enforcer, and they both feel good. Feels kind of similar to Chapter 6 Season 1, where you had the Hollow Twister with the scope and the Fury without the scope. Similar sort of meta to that. They both feel quite strong. The Vengeful Sniper is in public matches. It won't be available in competitive. It is a fun weapon, but that's probably for the best because it would be very broken amongst the top pros. Drivable reboot vans have also been added to the game. Again, I don't have a strong opinion on this as of yet. I'm kind of just interested to see how it plays out. It's also another means of rotation for competitive. On that note, golf carts appear to be enabled in competitive too, so seemingly there are some vehicles for this season. I don't know if they're going to stay in comp. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. The drivable reboot van situation does link quite nicely to my biggest concern about the new chapter. For whatever reason, Epic have messed with the power dynamic between the player that eliminates and the player that gets knocked. Now, more abilities have been given to the players that get knocked to ensure that they have a better chance of getting back into the game. This includes the new reboot vans. There's also a self-revive item which you can use, which I don't even think takes up an item slot. There's also a new mechanic where you can roll to the side if you're knocked, which is going to ruin so many good clutches in endgame. I can't understand why that's been added. In my opinion, if you get knocked, that is a punishment. You shouldn't be given any advantage over the player that has eliminated you if you're knocked, if you're on the ground. You should be helpless in that situation. And that's how it used to be, and I can't understand why they've changed that. These new changes make it way more forgiving if you get knocked, and I really don't like that. I do think there should be more of a punishment if you get eliminated. It feels like a subversion of everything we've come to expect from Fortnite. If I'm being real though, that is my only major complaint so far this chapter. Everything else seems great. I just really hope that they revert a couple of these changes, maybe if it's only in comp. I just don't think we should be giving that much power to knocked players. It's an imbalance. It just doesn't seem right. If you've made a mistake and you've been eliminated, you shouldn't then be able to get out of the way of the player trying to finish you, which might lead them to be eliminated. It just doesn't seem right in my book. The other gripe that people have with this chapter is that ranked isn't currently enabled. Reload and OG have also been disabled. The only thing you can play is public matches. Now, I don't personally like massively mind this. I don't really get why they disabled ranked. I can understand why Reload and OG aren't in. I agree with that, because obviously you want the most amount of players playing the new season, having eyes on that. But I don't know why you wouldn't have ranked, because that is the new season. It allows the best players to get on and play and show it off. So I can't quite understand that. It seems like a weird decision, but it's only for a few days, so it's not the end of the world. Now let's talk about the mobility this season, the main item of which is the wingsuit. Now with mobility items, there's 3 pieces of criteria that I look for. I want them to be fun, I want them to be unique, and I want them to be balanced. This nearly fills all of those boxes. It's definitely fun, it's definitely unique. Is it balanced? Maybe not quite. The reason I say that is because it's very easy to get beamed out of the air when you use it, because before it launches you into the wingsuit animation, after which you can actually travel quite far, you are stuck in the air, so you can often get beamed for like 120 damage, which isn't ideal. Honestly, it might need a buff, and you don't normally say that with movement items at the start of the season, but maybe they need to reduce the amount of time it takes to charge before you go into the wingsuit animation. That might solve it. It does feel fun though, and I think it's got potential. As I've mentioned in my last few videos, one of my favourite parts of Chapter 6 were the movement items. Each season carried a unique item, which was very balanced and very fun. We had the bats, the masks, the mist forms, they were all brilliant, and I could see this wingsuit being just as good as them. There's also balloons around the map that you can position on. Again, another thing that kind of harks back to Chapter 3, fueling my personal thoughts that this is a spiritual successor to that chapter. I can imagine players like Cammy and Trulex are going to be on these balloons a lot in scrims, so watch out for that. So a last word on the new chapter before I get into some team updates. I do think it's pretty fun. I've not played it too much. The first scrims are going to be today. I'll be making a video about those tomorrow, seeing which pro duos are doing well. But initial thoughts on the season are good. I'm excited for it. Something that got announced after my last video came out was the Unreal Cup. This will be happening on the 20th of December. The top 2,000 players in the EU will be getting prizes, with the first place duo getting $20,000. This is a really cool initiative. It's basically like a winter royale. It's nice to give players something to grind for, to work hard to get to Unreal rank. I do think that will improve ranked in the short term. I don't know about their plan for the new year. Obviously the rank 2.0 is coming. We don't know what that's going to consist of yet, but for now this is definitely a positive. Right, we've discussed the new chapter, but this is the EU review, so let's talk about European Fortnite. We do have some new duos announced, the biggest of which is Panzer and Yapko. That's right, MrSavage has been dropped. Now I thought Savage and Yapko had some good potential. You can go back and watch my old videos from about a month ago to see that. They started out the Simpsons season well, winning some games in Victory Cups. Didn't have the strongest finish, but yep, they're not playing together anymore. Panzer did say on Boop's stream that he'd been looking to play with Yapko since before the Simpsons season, so maybe it was only a matter of time before they get together. Perhaps it was inevitable, but that is going to be the new duo, so Savage is looking for a teammate. I'm not going to get into too much speculation about who Savage is playing with now. One of the top options a few weeks ago maybe would have been Focus, but he's now confirmed to be playing with Thomas HD for Chapter 7, so that's no longer on the table. Combine watch tomorrow's video and maybe I'll have an update for you then. These next two teams have been known about for a while, but I just want to confirm them for anyone that hasn't heard. Swizzy and Vanya have split. The two new duos are now Swizzy and Pixie, and Vanya and Murstache. Both of these teams have insane potential. There's an argument to be made that they are maybe the two best teams on the region. We'll have to wait and see whether that turns out to be true, but yeah, you'd argue they could be winning an FNCS. I would be shocked if one of those players doesn't get an FNCS this chapter. Another duo that's been confirmed is Chino and Pablo Wingu. Now, I felt like this was really harsh on Fredoxy. Fredoxy did really well with Chino, winning the first duo tournament of the off-season before getting dropped straight away for Veno. He's then now been dropped by Pablo Wingu as well because they were on a break for this season, and there was speculation that this break might actually be a permanent split, and that is what has happened. I did put a tweet out explaining my thoughts on the matter, how I kind of feel for Fredoxy. He is an FNCS champion from the last chapter, did very well at Globals, just generally played well in 2025, and he's been dropped by two of his ex-teammates. I speculated about who he could play with: Tayson, Sanguild, Hellfire, some names that I threw out there. It looks like he's going to be playing with Queasy. That could be the new duo. I'm not 100% sure on this. I really like the team. They're both players that I rate, that I think are very good. Do I think that them playing together is the best for both of them? Maybe not. I Personally feel like if they picked up other teammates, they'd both be better off. But with that being said, I will be rooting for this duo and I hope they do well. The sun was coming in quite bright during that last section, which is why I looked like I was being illuminated, but I've sorted that now. Let's talk about some of the new teams and where they're going to be dropping. Now, before I talk about any of these, I will be going over them in much more detail in tomorrow's video, because obviously we only know where players are dropping based on tweets. By tomorrow's video, we'll have had the first session of scrims and we'll have had a proper chance to see which drop spots players have picked. But I'll just go through a couple for you today. We've had iDrop and Marius choosing to land at Wonky Land, which is the theme park POI in the northwest of the map. Swizzy and Pixie are landing at Inner Loop Labs, which is in the mid map, as are Queasy and Fredoxy, and as are Shark and Teeny, so clearly that's quite a popular POI. Maybe there's something there that I'm not quite aware of yet. Panzer and Yapko are landing at Painted Palms in the northeast of the map, while Seti and Rax are landing at Ripped Tides. Quick note on Seti and Rax, I do feel like this was really harsh on Yanis that they formed. Yanis and Rax are playing so well during the off season. Now don't get me wrong, Seti is an upgrade on Yanis, I'm not disputing that, but harsh on Yanis, played well during the off season, only to be dropped. That's the nature of Fortnite though. I'll reply to every single comment on this video. Let me know what you think of Chapter 7. Are you enjoying it? What do you like about it? What are your concerns? Please let me know because I'm really interested to find out. In tomorrow's video, I'll talk about the first day of scrims as well as any team changes that come up. Thank you very much for watching the video. See you in the next one.